Assalamu alaikum. So in this video, I'll be going through Python while loops. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to understand what a while loop is and how to use it. You'll be able to use if statements to add conditions to a loop and add breaks and continue statements within a loop. First of all, let's go through the key terms. First of all, a loop. A loop is a block of code that repeats itself until a condition is met. It's just like asking someone to run around a circuit until a condition is met. So it could be run around a circuit, and the condition could be until you've done it 6 times. So you'll run around the block 6 times. Okay, while. So while we use it in real life as a period of time when something happens. For example, whilst you are at break, you are able to play ping pong with your friends. Whilst you are in the class, you will be concentrating on improving your knowledge. And in Python code rules, we can say whilst a number is below 10, then something can happen. Okay. Break is when there's an interruption or there is a pause in a loop or in your code. And continue is after a pause or an interruption, carrying on, continuing on. So there's 2 main types of loops in Python. First one is the while loop, and the second one is the for loops. In this video, we will only go through the while loops. Now, using this loop, we can execute statements as long as the condition is true. So by default, it is assuming that the condition that you set is true, and later on we can use else to find a condition that is false. So the main thing to remember here is by default it is assuming the condition is already true. So always have a variable ready, or you will need a variable for your while loop. Now this piece of code here, I will just go through on REPL and explain it. Now, going on to REPL here. So the REPL we've been using, you can just make a new REPL. We're working on Python 3 and give your REPL a name. So let's call it the while loop. Create REPL. So wait a couple of seconds. Even though it says created, it still needs to open up. Quick reminder, so this is the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So here is our editor, and here is a console where we'll be executing our commands. So, I'm just doing a little bit more. So what I had on the screen before is x equals 1. So our variable is x, and the number assigned to it is 1. We said while x is less than 6. Remember to have the colon, and when you do press enter, you should have an indent here. Okay. So we're assuming that it will be a true anyway. So while x is less than 6, we want to print what's inside the variable x. So obviously now, what is inside the variable x? The number 1. Because it's a loop and it'll be repeating this code over and over again, each time it repeats, I want it to add an additional number 1. So currently we have x equals 1, so the value of the variable x is 1. Whilst it is below 6, yes, it's true, the number 1 is below 6. Print number 1. After you printed number 1, onto x, add the number 1. So 1 add 1, it will now be 2. It will go back into this cycle of loop. Now we have number 2. Is 2 less than 6? Yes, it is. Print 2. After you print 2, add another number. Do 2 plus 1. Now the number is 3. Again, it's going back into the loop. Number 4, print number 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. Is 5 less than 6? Of course it is. And therefore, execute this command, which is print x, which is 5. Now 5 plus 6, our condition will no longer be met, because 5 plus 6 is 6. Is 6 less than 6? No, it's not. Don't do anything. Let's press play and see what happens. Okay, so we have 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 4 and 5, and then it will not print 6 because the condition of x being less than 6 is no longer met. 6 is not lower than 6. 6 is equal to 6, and therefore the loop will stop at that point.